evening and welcome to NIN Live. I am Saumya Tiwari and today we are in conversation with the nation's homeopath and one of the most successful entrepreneurs of our country, the decorated Padma Shri recipient Dr. Mukesh Batra. I think we can all unanimously agree that he is not just a successful founder but also a household name in our country. Sir began his medical practice from a modest single clinic in Mumbai, and today, Dr. Batra's Positive Health Clinics is the world's largest homeopathic healthcare corporate with a network of 89 clinics spread across India, Dubai, and United Kingdom. Dr. Batra has played an instrumental role in creating awareness for homeopathy through his writings, books, and television programs. Today, Sir has given us the privilege to talk to him about his new book, The Nation's Homeopath, and celebrate its launch with us. Now, I would like to welcome my fellow host, Ma'am Shweta Rana.
Good evening, Saumya.
Good evening, ma'am. Up next, we have Ma Neenu. Ma is an important figure in today's show. She is Dr. Batra's sister and also a devotee of Osho.
Pranam Ma.
सभी मित्रों को मेरा प्रणाम.
Namaste. And last but not the least, we have the person you have been eagerly waiting for, Dr. Batra himself.
Namaskar,
Hello,
sir.
sir.
A warm welcome to you.
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप सबको, मेरा प्रणाम और आपके सब देखने वालों को भी. मैं यहाँ देख रहा हूँ कि मेरे फ्रेम में जो है 3 इतनी अच्छी सुंदरियाँ बैठी हुई हैं, तो मैं ये कार्यक्रम जो है एक दो लाइन सुना के फिर शुरू करता हूँ. आपके हसीन रुख पे आज नया नूर है, मेरा दिल मचल गया तो मेरा क्या कसूर है, आपकी निगाह ने कहा तो कुछ जरूर है, मेरा दिल मचल गया तो मेरा क्या कसूर है. जय ओशो आप सबको. और on this happy note, let's start. Thank you.
So you have already set the tone of our show, and I can guarantee that everybody is going to enjoy this show so much. And enjoyment का reason double है sir हमारे पास आज, क्योंकि आपकी book launch हुई है, The Nation's Homeopath. So we are here to celebrate that with you. And sir, we are really excited, privileged, and honored to have you with us today. So my first question, sir, आपसे ये रहेगा कि what were the lessons in your childhood that you still hold very close to your heart? And they have shaped your life in a way. What are those, lessons that you would like to share with us today?
Childhood lessons are not very easy to remember at my age. When you turn 70, then, you really, there's a lot of, memory lapse that you have. And some of the lessons you don't really remember. But I would just, remember one or two, which I would like to share with everybody. The first, of course, has been, that I learned not to tell lies. जब मैं छोटा था, तो मैं स्कूल में था और मेरी एक हिंदी की टीचर थी और उसने मुझे एक रिमार्क लिखा और उसने कहा कि ये जाके अपनी माताजी को दिखा दो. तो मैंने, माताजी यानी मेरी नानी माँ थी, तो मैंने दिखाया नहीं. तो उन्होंने पूछा आपने दिखा दिया? मैंने कहा मैंने दिखा दिया. फिर 1 महीने बाद मेरी मेरी आंटी जो है वो लंदन से आई और वो स्कूल में आई. तो उन्होंने कहा अरे आपने नोट पढ़ा नहीं, आपने जवाब नहीं दिया. तो उन्होंने कहा मुझे तो कोई नोट मिला ही नहीं है. तो तब से आज तक मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता हूँ. मुझे एक जो लेसन मुझे मिला है चाइल्डहुड का, that is, number one is that, you never tell lies. And I've maintained that all the way through. I make sure that I am very, very, honest in everything that I do. दूसरी चीज़ जो मैंने सीखी वो अपनी मदर से सीखी, वो compassion. My mother was among the first allopathic doctors. उस टाइम उनको लेडी डॉक्टर जी कहा करते थे लोग, डॉक्टरानी कहा करते थे. And she was the deputy director of medical services in UP. तो उनके साथ मैं छोटा सा था, 5-6 साल का, उनकी जीप में बैठ के पूरा यूपी, उस टाइम सब उत्तराखंड, सब it was undivided, उत्तरांचल, it was all part of UP. So मैं सब घूमता था. And I used to see my mother कि वो कितने लोगों की सेवा करती थी. और डॉक्टर होके कहाँ कहाँ विलेजेस में जाती थी, उनकी सेवा करती थी। और यहाँ तक कि जब व्हेन शी केम टू बॉम्बे एंड शी वाज लिटिल ओल्डर, शी एक्चुअली सफर फ्रॉम कैंसर। तो जब उनको कैंसर हो गया तब भी उन्होंने स्वामी चिन्मयानंद का जो डायग्नोस्टिक सेंटर था उसमें वो फ्री सर्विस देती थी। और जो जो मुझे वट एवर द इम्प्रेशन इन माई माइंड, इट इज़ सो स्ट्रॉन्ग अबाउट द कंपैशन, इज दैट शी ऑलवेज टुक अ बस एंड वेंट टू चेंबूर, बिकॉज शी सेड कि जितना पैसा बचता है वो मरीजों के लिए जाए, more people can be treated free. Even though she had cancer, she would travel by bus. So I remember this compassion story very well, and that is also kind of stuck in my mind, that I believe that it's good to be compassionate, and I've tried to be compassionate all my life. The third lesson that I learned from my childhood also was from my grandmother. हम छोटे थे तो हम उनके साथ जाते थे, सत्संग में जाते थे. So I believe that a lot of the beginning of my spirituality, if I may call it so, actually happened with my grandmother. Because as a child I used to listen to all the bhajans, the kirtan हुआ करता था, सत्संग हुए करते थे, तो उसको हम सुना करते थे. And I think somewhere there that spirituality has grown. I also believe that homeopathy and spirituality are very close to each other. जैसे हम मानते हैं कि होम्योपैथी जो है वो जड़ से मिटाती है बीमारी को, it's something which goes to the root from internal. So also is spirituality. We don't look at outside world. यानी ओशो भी कहते हैं कि हमें जो दुनिया है उसको नहीं देखना चाहिए. We should not get affected by what we see. We should not get affected by unnecessary sights, and we should heal from within. So जो सच्ची जो healing होती है, जो spirituality होती है, it doesn't come from religion. It doesn't come from from everything outside. It comes from whatever feeling you have within your heart. So it comes from realization. एक time वो realization हो गया, it may take only 1 minute to get it. And once you realize, then you're a माँ, and then you're a guru. And that's how easy it is. So ये सब मैंने बचपन में सीखा और आज तक मैं इसे निभाने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ.
Sir, I can say that the values that you have learned, they have shaped you in such a beautiful way that, no wonder you have accomplished so much in your life. Now, sir, my next question to you, it is just not from our side, but I think all your competitors and everybody wants to know, what is the mantra of your success? Like you've literally set up a multinational empire. So what is the mantra behind this? So as competitors, please listen to this closely.
No, there are no competitors. It's all in the mind. Everybody's together to actually make homeopathy grow, and it's always a collective effort. But actually there is really no mantra. But I would say that if at all, one is of course that you aim, they aim too low, who aim below the skies. So you must have high ambition. You must always think of the bigger goal. You must try to make sure that whatever you do exceptionally well. I think that is really my first mantra. The second, of course, is that whatever you do, you must do honestly. जैसे मैंने कहा, मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता हूँ. So I try to carry that honesty in my company as well. We have no cash dealings. Everybody pays their taxes. तो इससे क्या होता है कि जब आप अच्छा काम करते हैं और सही काम करते हैं तो रात को आपको अच्छी तरह से नींद आती है. और अगर आपकी नींद अच्छी है तो फिर आपके ख्याल भी अच्छे होते हैं. And then obviously you're leading really a very peaceful life. And that is really the secret of success. If you are doing all kala bazari and wrong things, and then you make money, and then you can't sleep and you lose your peace of mind, it's not worth it. So I think it's good to follow the correct path. It's good to follow value systems, and then you actually get there wherever you want to be, and work hard, of course. As they say, life is like 1% inspiration but 99% perspiration. कदम चूम लेती है मंजिल आकर अगर राही खुद अपनी हिम्मत ना हारे. So I've seen a lot of young people, they kind of give up too easily. मेहनत करनी है तो दिल लगा के करो, जोश से करो. That josh is very important. And I think that passion for your work is very important. I think if you have it, certainly you will all be successful.
Indeed, sir. I totally agree with you on this point. And my next question is to Ma Neeru, who is very close to you. So, Ma, सर और आपने काफी बचपन एक साथ गुजारा है, मतलब सारे बचपन एक साथ गुजारा है. तो ऐसी कौन सी यादें होंगी आपके बचपन की, जिनको आप अभी भी याद करती हैं, एंड देन अभी आप सर को देखती हैं, एंड यू कैन रिकॉल कि ये तो अरे मेरे साथ ही बड़ा हुआ था एंड ही इज डूइंग सो गुड इन लाइफ. तो ऐसी कौन सी यादें होंगी?
बचपन के तो दिन सभी के बहुत सुंदर होते हैं. मेरा भी बचपन बहुत सुंदर बीता. मेरे चाचा जी के 3 बेटे हैं और मुकेश भैया सबसे बड़े भाई हैं और तीनों भाइयों में से मैं एक बहन हूँ और मुझे तीनों भाइयों का बहुत प्यार मिला। We had a great time, we had fun, we celebrated birthdays together, we really enjoyed. और मुकेश भैया की तो बात ही कुछ और है, जितनी तारीफ करूं उतना कम है। मुकेश भैया is unique. He is always been very focused, disciplined, and he's very compassionate and also very good singer. He reminds me of my father who was a legendary singer. और हम छोटे होते बहन भाई आपस में डिस्कस करते थे मुकेश भैया कुछ बड़े होकर बनकर दिखाएंगे, तो वाकई में उन्होंने हमारी फैमिली का नाम रोशन किया। आई एम वेरी प्राउड ऑफ हिम। थैंक यू।
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. That was a very beautiful answer. And now I would like to invite my fellow host, ma'am Shweta, to ask her question.
Uh, so it's an honor to interview you today. First and
Thank you.
foremost, let me say that. And sir, I want to ask you that as any budding entrepreneur, you had your fair share of struggles while setting up your business. So, what are the tips you would want to give this new generation entrepreneurs, especially in today's COVID times?
So, this is a not an easy question to answer because, I mean, I can't really give gyan to people. I think, you have to learn it through life. Life is the biggest learner. और जैसे हम जिंदगी बिताते हैं, जैसे हमारी जिंदगी बढ़ती है, उसमें हम अपने आप सीखते जाते हैं. But I would really say, like I said, कि number one is that you must be honest. You must have a good vision. You must work hard because nothing, is without, working hard. What you see is only the 1% on the top, but like it's like an iceberg. You see 1% on the top, but you miss the 99% which is below, which is all the hard work and the base which has gone over all these years. So I would only say कि आजकल के ज़माने में काफ़ी लोग जो हैं, they want quick money, they want easy money. I'm saying if you want that, then maybe you go to the stock market, then you don't come to a profession, then you don't become a doctor. डॉक्टर में जो है बहुत एक सेवा की भावना होती है और वो भावना जो है वो बहुत ज़रूरी है. It's very important that that you're dealing with patience, you're dealing with compassion, you're dealing with love, you're dealing with care. And you saw that happening in COVID. कोविड के टाइम पे आपने देखा कि कितने डॉक्टरों ने अपने पूरी परिवार को छोड़ के, यानी हमारी क्लिनिक्स में भी हमारे अभी 225 क्लिनिक्स हैं, 400 डॉक्टर्स हैं, वो लोग अपना घर छोड़ के इवन अगेंस्ट द एडवाइस ऑफ देयर फैमिली मेंबर्स they went to the clinic to attend to people. They were on calls, they were on e-consults, with patients all across the world to help them out in case of COVID and to help them out with their other problems as well. तो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आजकल के जो नया जनरेशन है एंटरप्रेन्योर, वो ये ध्यान रखें कि what is the change that they want to bring about in society. I mean, whatever they are doing, is it really for themselves or is it actually for people around them? And if there's a higher goal where you want to reach out to change society, to change people, and to have a better world and a happier world, I think then you will really succeed in whatever you do. So you work hard and you have a good aim and have a good focus in life. I'm sure that you'll all do well.
Absolutely. Saumya, your question.
Yes, sir. So this question to you specifically is about the book that has been launched recently. So what were some of the problems that you faced in writing your latest book?
So that was not very easy, and that's a good question because I've written many books on homeopathy. My last book was by Westland, 13 Steps to Bloody Good Health with Ashwin Sanghi, who's a very celebrated writer. So that was my first book outside homeopathy, and this is my first book, which is like a biography. So to write an autobiography is not very easy. It's very difficult. Why is it difficult? Because number one is I wrote it during COVID time. So COVID के समय में मैं I saw people around me, all sad stories, people dying, people not well. I saw so much of unhappiness, so much of pain. And at that time to write your own biography and keep your mind out of all that and keep it focused was not very easy. Second thing, it was the time of working from home. तो हम लोग तो क्या चप्पल पहन के और शॉर्ट्स पहन के घर में बैठते थे, पर जो हमारा दिमाग है वो सूट और टाई का होना चाहिए. It should be like an office, you have to have discipline. So there was a lot of discipline that was required because everywhere around you it was all casual. So I would make sure that I spent at least 3 to 4 hours every morning writing at least 1,000 words every day about my biography, recalling my childhood and everything else. And then I had a group of writers called the narrators. and then I would spend 3-4 hours with them in the evening. तो मेरे 7 या 8 घंटे approximately about 1.5 साल मुझे लगा इस किताब को लिखने में. And then of course you see it now before you. I mean, I can show you a copy. It is here. Here you are, and it's now already hit the book stands, and it's available in Amazon. And I hope that with all the love and affection, I mean, it will become a bestseller, because the other challenge also was that people said that biographies don't sell in India, and unless it's a kiss and tell. तो मैंने तो ना कभी किसी को किस किया है, ना मैं किसी के बारे में बुरा बोलता हूँ. So it's not, there's nothing that I can say which is bad, or which is gossipy in my biography. So the challenge was how to make it interesting without saying anything bad about anybody else. And that's why I've narrated short stories, my experiences of my life, which are real, and in a very, very, very nice, easy, witty and humorous and interesting manner. So that was the challenge.
So I want to ask you this. You have written a lot of medical books in the past, but suddenly you decided to pen down your memoirs. What made you do this suddenly? What was it that, made you feel that now you should write down your memoirs?
It wasn't actually sudden. It was, I mean, I wanted to plan it for my 70th birthday, and I was thinking of writing it for a long time. And then, of course, one of the authors came to me and said, why don't you write, and then I started thinking about it. And then I thought that, अभी, 70 साल की उम्र तो हो गई है. अभी, पता नहीं आगे कितने साल बचे हैं. It's nice that if I can share my life, with people, so that others can benefit. So that was actually the motivation to do it, now rather than later. क्योंकि अगर अभी भी थोड़ा सा मेमोरी लॉस हो रहा है तो 5 साल के बाद तो और हो जाएगा, and you never know what you'll remember. So I thought I should jot down, whatever I remember, and whatever, are the incidences of my life, so that other people can benefit. And what better way there can be of a celebration of life. Osho bhi kehte the ki one should celebrate life. And I also believe that, I celebrate, what better way can I celebrate my life than sharing my life like an open book with other people so that they can benefit. So that was really my thought behind it. And I hope more and more people read it and they enjoy the book, and that it actually helps them to change their lives even a little better.
Yes, sir, indeed. So my next question to you would be that, what is the one difference between the current generation of practitioners and your generation? Like, are there any differences in the morals, or what could be, like a primary difference that is there?
So, I mean, actually all doctors are people who serve society. And you saw that happening in COVID also. You saw how many sacrifices they made. Okay. And that people were really so, I mean, they're so grateful. I'm saying, COVID also taught you that, life is a big leveler. You can be a rich man, but you still need oxygen, and for that, you need to be blessed, that you can get admission in. So you need to still have the doctors who were really doctors, paramedical staff. Everybody was actually holding your hand. So you never realized, have you ever realized the importance of a doctor more during COVID times? So all doctors are important, whether they are young, whether they are old. So many doctors were brought back from retirement during COVID. So I think the medical profession has got a big boost during COVID time because of the sacrifices that doctors have made, whether they are young or whether they are old. Now, having said that, I also believe, yes, that some of the new doctors, they want to earn quick money. Also medical education has become very expensive. So they spend crores of rupees to do the MDs. Then they have to recover the money back again. Then there are so many loans that have to be taken to start your practice. So it's not very easy. The atmosphere is such that you need to earn. And so that is really a driving force with a lot of young doctors, is that they want to earn money quickly and they don't want to wait for 10 years or 15 years. Now, in the older people, the disadvantage is that they're not tech savvy. I believe today a doctor is a technocrat. He must not only know medicine, but he must also know how to deal with people. He must know psychological handling, and he must also know technology. I mean, I've seen so many senior doctors where they say, I can't write a prescription on a computer because मुझे तो इस्तेमाल करना आता ही नहीं है, and then I have to have another assistant who's young, who can then key in the case histories. So, this is not the thing for the future. You're talking about artificial intelligence in medicine, So old doctors also have to relearn, and they have to learn technology. And that's something which, they need to do. But also the whole shift in the society, the way doctors were treated on a pedestal and the way they are treated now has also changed. So हमारे ज़माने में तो डॉक्टर used to be a family doctor. So कहा करते थे कि हम जो है लोगों को दवाई भी देते थे, मीठी गोलियां भी देते थे, और उनके साथ फिर वी आर ऑल्सो, जैसे कहते हैं ना, वो इंडियन मैच मेकर में एक शो आता था सीमा आंटी का, तो हम लोग सीमा आंटी भी बन जाते थे। हम लोग लोग कहते थे कि डॉक्टर साहब आपके पास इतने मरीज हैं, इतने अच्छे लोग हैं, इतनी अच्छी फैमिलीज आती हैं, क्या आप हमारी बेटी के लिए कोई वर ढूंढ सकते हैं? तो हमने ऐसी तरह से इतनी शादियां कराई थी बिफोर सीमा आंटी केम इनटू द पिक्चर। बट दैट वाज द thought of a family doctor, which is now gone. Now there is speciality, now there is super speciality, and this holistic approach to human beings, where the mind and body is together, is now lost. So today you have, as a joke, they say कि ENT specialist है आज, ear, nose and throat, और कुछ समय के बाद you'll have a separate one for the ear, separate one for the throat, and separate one for the nose. That's how much we are getting, but we are losing track of the human being as a whole, and we are losing sight of people as a whole. We are losing holistic medicine. We are losing body and mind medicine, and we are looking at medicine in silos, in very very small, very very small parts of the body, which are actually related to each other, which we don't see. I think that's really the difference between old medicine and present medicine, and the old doctors and the new doctors.
Yes, sir. I absolutely agree with what you said, because I also come from a family of doctors and they bear testimony to whatever you have said. Doctors are matchmakers, they do different things, and whatever you just said is so beautiful. मतलब nostalgia हो गया होगा जितने लोग देख रहे होंगे पहले के doctors का सोच के. Now I would want to invite Shweta ma'am to ask a question to you, sir.
So you have been a trendsetter. At 50 years old, you started the Dr. Batra's Foundation, and at 60, you went to Harvard University to do a course in medical excellence. So, what has made you do this? To be a
I think
trendsetter for so many things.
I've never been a trendsetter. I think I've just done whatever I felt, wherever God took me, and whatever path that was set for me, I just followed it. Nothing in my life was planned. ये सब आशीष है ऊपर वालों का और मेरे गुरुओं का, जिन्होंने जो कुछ भी हुआ मेरी ज़िंदगी में उनकी वजह से हुआ। मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि जब मैं छोटा था तो मैं स्वामी सौम्या जी नंद जी को साथ में बैठ के घंटों बात करता था ऑन फिलोसफी एंड ऑन वेदांता। तो वहाँ से मेरा थोड़ा सा जो है द स्पिरिचुअल जर्नी ऑल्सो स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम देयर अ लिटिल बिट, एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स आई मेट सत्य साई बाबा जी, एंड ही ब्लेस्ड मी एंड ही हग्ड मी, और उसके बाद मेरी ज़िंदगी बदल गई। उसके बाद मैंने शिरडी साई बाबा के मंदिर में, मुझे वहाँ पे ट्रस्ट ने बुलाया, मैंने उनकी मूर्ति को दूध से धोया और वहाँ पे प्रार्थना करी, उन्होंने मुझे ब्लेस किया। और इसी तरह से एक गुरुजी थे गुड़गांव में, उनके साथ में बैठा करता था सत्संग के बाद, और 2-3 बजे तक फिलॉसफी के बारे में बात करता था। तो और अभी तो शैलेंद्र जी हैं, रोज़ मुझे एक मैसेज भेजते हैं, मैं उसको रोज़ पढ़ता हूँ, देखता हूँ और समझता हूँ और अपनी ज़िंदगी में उसको लाता भी हूँ। तो जितनी भी मेरी ओशो की जो फिलॉसफी है वो मैंने स्वामी शैलेंद्र जी से सीखी है, और उनकी जो डेली मैसेजेस आती हैं मेरे पास, उनको मैं देखता हूँ और समझता हूँ और पढ़ता हूँ और निभाता हूँ। तो आई थिंक आई एम ब्लेस्ड, एंड आई थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ दैट दीज थिंग्स हैव हैपेंड। सो जब मैं 50 साल का हो गया तब मुझे लगा कि एक अंदरूनी से, अब जैसे मैंने कहा, एक आवाज़ आती है, एक रियलाइजेशन आती है कि अभी यू हैव एस्टैब्लिश्ड योरसेल्फ प्रोफेशनली, पीपल नो यू वेल, अभी नाउ यू शुड गिव बैक टू सोसाइटी। सो दैट इज़ व्हेन आई फाउंडेड द डॉक्टर बत्रास फाउंडेशन व्हेन आई वाज 50, और तब से आज तक अभी 50 साल हो गए, 20 साल हो गए अभी, उससे 50 से अभी 70 तक। तो 20 साल से हम लोगों को जो है एक वी आर गिविंग 20,000 फ्री ट्रीटमेंट्स एवरी ईयर टू पुअर पीपल। डॉक्टर मुकेश बत्रा का स्कॉलरशिप है होम्योपैथी कॉलेजेस में, वेयर वी पे देयर ट्यूशन फीस to all the deserving students, and of course we have positive health awards which is sponsored by Bajaj, और मैं खुद गाता हूँ और फोटोग्राफी करता हूँ for charity, for an old age home, and also for the visually challenged. So I think the lesson to learn is two over here. Number one is you're never too old to learn. When I was 60, ऐसे होता है कि बच्चे बोलते हैं, अपने पेरेंट्स बोलते हैं अपने बच्चों को कि विदेश में जाके पढ़ के आओ और एडवांस स्टडीज़ करो। मेरे लड़के ने मुझे 60 साल की उम्र में हार्वर्ड में भेजा और कहा जाओ आप पापा पढ़ के आओ, मैंने बोला मैं अभी क्या पढ़ूंगा हार्वर्ड में, मेडिकल एक्सेलेंस का प्रोग्राम 60 साल की उम्र में, इतनी सारी फाइल्स आ गई, इतनी सारी केस स्टडीज आ गई। तो पर मैंने मेहनत करी और मैं वहाँ पे आई वाज द ओल्डेस्ट स्टूडेंट एंड आई डिड वेल। सो आई एम सेइंग व्हेन यू गेट अ चैलेंज then you always do it, you know. Similarly now I have, you know, at age 70 you keep evolving yourself. So now I've become an author, my autobiography is out, I have got some contracts with some foreign from foreign you know publishers as well to write more books. So I think मेरा एक नया अवतार अभी आप देखेंगे, which is that of an author. I think you keep evolving as time comes, and whatever opportunity comes your way you take it and then you do well. So you know, that's my thought, that you know, you just want to, and you know, it was my mother who said, because she had a lot of influence in my life, on the soft side, on the spiritual side also. So she always used to say this little poem which I'd like to recite for you. Life is an echo, all comes back. Life is an echo, all comes back, the good, the false, the true. So give the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. So you know, that is something that, you know, has stayed with me. You know, ऐसे कहा जाता है, इंग्लिश में भी एक कहावत है, I walked and complained that I had no shoes till I came across the man who had no feet. और अगर आप किसी भी spirituality का देखेंगे, what is it? It's all about contentment. It's not about want. It's not about desire. So when you have too much of want, when you have too much of desire, you're always unhappy, because then you want to go to the next level. Then you want something more. You know, like that whole thing of saying दिल मांगे more. So जब दिल मांगे more,
Yes.
फिर तो कुछ सुख नहीं होता. सुख आता है जब अंदरूनी प्यास जो है, जब वो बुझ जाएगी, जब शांतता आ जाएगी, जब दिमाग शांत हो जाएगा, you know, and when you are at peace with yourself, and when you have contentment, you know, when you say that I have whatever I want, I'm happy with what I have, you know. And जैसे एक और मैं दो लाइनें मुझे अभी याद आ रही है मुकेश के गाने की, वो आपको मैं गुनगुना के सुनाता हूँ। माना अपनी जेब से फकीर हैं, फिर भी यारों दिल के हम अमीर हैं। माना अपनी जेब के फकीर हैं, फिर भी यारों दिल के हम अमीर हैं। किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है, जीना इसी का नाम है, जीना इसी का नाम है।
So that was absolutely delightful. And whatever you said, sir, whatever you said, पहली बात तो जो लोग aged हो रहे होंगे and they think, you know, age is a barrier. Very beautiful books have been written कि लोग age does not stop you. I mean, जितने आप old होंगे उतने you will mature and उतना you will conquer. So that was so beautiful, and the message that you had given to a number of people, I hope to all our viewers, please listen to it, because Sir has accomplished so much in his life and you need to get
Absolutely.
inspired by him. And Sir, my second question to you is कि हमने बात की थी कि pandemic कैसे चल रहा है and how the situation is getting worsened. So do you think कि homeopathy को जैसे Indians view करने लगे हैं because of COVID, has there been a change in it?
So, you know, there are two or three things that come to my mind. First of all, you know, like I said, doctors have been more respected after the COVID. And, you know, the realization of good health has become more important. We have understood, for example, like never before, A, that health is something that you have to guard yourself, you know, and B, that, you know, it is not something which cannot be, you know, something which is, which you can ask somebody else to do for you. It is something which is self-governed. यू नो, मुझे याद है कि जब मैं लोगों को ट्रीट करता था तो यंग माएँ आती थी और कहती थी मदर्स कि आप मेरे बेटे को बोलो आइसक्रीम नहीं खाए, आप मेरे को बेटे को बोलो लॉलीपॉप नहीं खाए, उससे उसका गला खराब हो जाता है। अरे आपका बेटा है, अगर आप उसे नहीं समझा सकते तो मैं क्या समझाऊंगा? सो द थिंग इज दैट, यू नो, एवरीथिंग इज सेल्फ गवर्न इन हेल्थ. यू हैव टू सेल्फ गवर्न योरसेल्फ. You know, doctor can give you a lot of prescriptions, but you can throw it out the moment you leave the clinic. You know, you have to be motivated to correct your life. And I think we've learned this lesson maximum in COVID, because in COVID time you have to understand that you have to build your immunity when you are healthy, not when you are sick. So if you do the right things when you are healthy, then the chances of your falling sick are not going to be there. So that is, you know, the first thing that you learn in COVID. The second thing is that, you know, COVID has been a leveler. It's like golf. It's a great leveler. Whether you are rich, whether you are poor, it makes no difference. And we also realize that how closely now people can get affected. You know, मुझे याद है कि जब मैं लंदन या अमेरिका में ट्रीट करता था, लोगों को सिखाता था डॉक्टरों को, तो there used to be a special category of medicine called tropical medicine. because that time people never knew anything about jaundice, malaria. Oh, Western world में these are not known. Today, with the shrinking of the globe, today all these diseases have become now very common. So अगर चाइना में, अगर वुहान में कुछ बीमारी शुरू होती है, तो 2-3 महीने के बाद पूरी दुनिया में फैल जाती है. So today nothing is isolated, and which is why also COVID has taught you that मैं ही ठीक नहीं होना. It's not important that only I should get all right. It is important that society must get all right. So the wellness of society and the well-being of people all around me are as important, because अगर मैं भी precaution लूंगा but मेरे सामने वाले कोई precaution नहीं ले रहा है, so I will get COVID, I will fall sick. So this is the other lesson that we learned during COVID. Coming to homeopathy, homeopathy has been actually very useful during epidemics, right, from many years, starting from the Spanish flu. There is research which has shown that Spanish flu में homeopathy, normally with the normal medicine at that time, this was pre-antibiotic area, so it's not relevant, but there was a 30% mortality rate. With homeopathy, there was a 1% mortality rate. That's the difference. So homeopathy has always been used for epidemics very successfully. Even in India, in Andhra Pradesh, there was a Japanese encephalitis. आंध्र प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट ने होम्योपैथिक दवाई बेलाडोना 1 लोगों को दी, 1 million doses, और किसी को भी वो बीमारी नहीं हुई. People were dying of brain fever, as it is called, at that time. So in Cuba, leptospirosis took place. Again, homeopathic medicine was given. About 3 million doses were given, and it worked very well. It brought down the mean level of infection. So this year also, last year, because of the Ayush Ministry, they have recommended arsenic Alp 30 as a homeopathic preventive against COVID. My company itself has donated 2 crore medicines free of charge. The entire Maharashtra police force and their families, we have given free preventive medicines. And there has been a lot of research which has been done in different states to show how effective it has been. So homeopathy is very effective as a preventive during epidemics, including COVID times. Number one. Number two is, we have something called long COVID now. COVID तो ठीक हो गया, पर उसके बाद अभी भी हम बीमार हैं, अभी भी हमें थकान महसूस होती है, अभी भी हमारी सांस फूलती है, अभी हमारे बाल झड़ रहे हैं, अभी मेरा शुगर हाई हो गया है. So all these things happened because I had COVID 5-6 months ago. It's called long COVID. The long symptoms are, for this also, homeopathy is very useful. And also, with COVID, there are a lot of mental symptoms that happen. Anxiety, depression, fear. ऐसा माना जाता है कि almost it has doubled. Mental health problems have doubled during COVID with people. Or homeopathic दवाइयाँ है, Aconite है, which is for fear of death. Which is very good homeopathic medicine. So like that, there are many homeopathic medicines which help with the mental state of COVID as well. And so I think people have begun to realize that homeopathy has its usefulness, and that it's more and more people are turning to homeopathy after COVID and during COVID.
Thank you, sir. That was extremely informative. Now I would ask Shweta ma'am to ask you her question.
Yes. Sir, listening to your experiences, the way you have been explaining medicine, medical terms, everything, this is very informative for our viewers too, at the same time, to get it directly from you. Sir, I want to ask you this, that you have been betrayed by people many times, yet you are so positive in everything. And you also believe that failure is the stepping stone to success. So what keeps this indomitable spirit of Dr. Mukesh Batra going?
That's not an easy question to answer because it is so personal. I think it depends from people to people. But here again, I just like to quote Osho first. Osho ji ne kaha tha, a little foolishness to enjoy life and a little wisdom to avoid the errors. That's it. So a little foolishness to enjoy life and a little wisdom to avoid the errors. That's what I did. I'm saying there are so many parts of my life which have been foolish, where I made mistakes, which I should not have made. But I corrected myself. As I went along, I learned from my mistakes. इसी तरह, ओशो जी ने ये भी कहा था कि life begins where fear ends. Life begins where fear ends. और एक ऐसे हिंदी में भी एक स्लोगन है, कहते हैं डर के आगे जीत है. And as a joke for those of you who live in Mumbai, they say डर के आगे जीत है और दादर के आगे सीट है. Because जो लोग ट्रेन से ट्रैवल करते हैं, दादर से लोग उतर जाते हैं, तो फिर बैठने की कुछ जगह मिल जाती है. So I think one thing also that I've never been afraid. I've never been afraid because I believed in myself. I believe that I have it in me to overcome challenges, to overcome difficulties, and that I could deliver. And like I said, I always felt that I'm blessed तो मेरी ज़िंदगी में अगर कुछ बुरा भी हो तो कुछ समय तक होता है, जो बुरे लोग आते भी हैं वो कुछ समय के बाद निकल जाते हैं आसानी से। एंड सो आई हैव दैट हेलो अराउंड मी व्हिच प्रोटेक्ट्स मी, व्हिच इज़ रियली द ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ माय गुरुज, एंड इट्स आल्सो द ब्लेसिंग्स ऑफ माय पेशेंट्स, क्योंकि जिन लोगों को मैंने ठीक किया है, जिनकी कुछ भी तकलीफें दूर हुई हैं, उनकी दुआ जो है हमेशा मेरे साथ रहती है, एंड बिकॉज ऑफ दैट आई एम व्हाट आई एम टुडे. So I don't believe anything can touch me. It can touch me only for a little while, and then it'll go away. And then I'm happy to bounce back and to become even stronger than ever before. I think
So
failure is the
your
stepping stone to success. And one of the things also I would like to mention here is that जब मैं हार्वर्ड में स्टडी करने गया था, तो one of the things that I learned over there Harvard was that drug companies are giving failure parties to people. So they said that you fail early to you fail early to succeed early, because then you can actually become successful more. Because what will happen, some $1 billion worth of drugs you're finding, और फिर आपको पता चला 5 साल के बाद it's not going to work. So better you cut it out now. When you know it's not going to work, you save that time and energy and the money. So you actually celebrate failure. So failure is something which is not to be shunned. I mean, this is in our own psyche. It is in our education system. जब हम कहते हैं कि बच्चा फेल हो गया तो क्या हो गया? What is failure? It's all relative. It's all in the state of mind. People who fail. I mean, I can give you so many examples. I mean, I was not a back bencher. I was a front bencher, but I was a front bencher because of my height, not because of any other thing. Because I was vertically challenged. I was the shortest boy in the class. So I was always in the front row. But not because of being the brightest boy or something like that. But you can see that it's always the backbenchers who actually excel in life. So it is not necessary that you have to be brilliant, and you don't have to your ratta maar ke pass hona. It's got no meaning. You have to learn the experiences of life. Life is an experience by itself, and you have to experience it. And if you experience life as you go along, you learn, and then you don't fail. You succeed as you go on. So I think that's something. Never be disappointed by failure. Failure is always a stepping stone to success. It's just showing you the way. God is showing you the way how you can become stronger.
So
Very true, sir.
your mindset is so beautiful. I mean, I think all of us sitting over here are honestly inspired. So that was beautiful. And so your Dadar joke, Shweta ma'am and I, it is very relatable to the both of us because we have been there. And so now, and now my next question to you would be that, sir, I've read your book, and there's a part about leadership in that book, and with leadership comes a lot of responsibility. So I would like to know, and our viewers would like to know, like, what is your style of leadership? How do you lead a team, and how do you lead your corporation?
So I first of all, I think that leadership is everything. That's what I've been taught in Harvard, that if you are a good leader, then everything is good. And leadership is multi-level leadership, not just at the top. It's not good just that the CEO should be a great leader. It's not just that the country's head should be a great leader. If the country head is a great leader, then also the state heads have to be a great leader. Then the municipal heads have also to be a great leader. Then the panchayat heads have also to be a great leader. So leadership has to be good at all levels for it to succeed. It cannot be just at one point. It's not something at the apex. It starts with that, but it has to permeate into every level of leadership. So, like I say in my company, if my doctor can stand up and say, "मैं भी Dr. Batra," then I have achieved good leadership. Because then he has taken the role of Dr. Batra, and he acts and treats with people as if he or she is Dr. Batra. So that's leadership. So when you can imbibe these thoughts and these values into your team, that is true leadership. So I believe that leadership is everything. My style is really exemplary. I believe that people actually watch it, and they watch you all the time. I used to tell people also, there are a lot of companies which have uniforms, like for example air hostesses. So when they are outside and they are chatting, I always used to tell the owner of the airline, I said, you be careful, because when your girls are wearing the uniform and then they are gossiping in public, then the image of your brand goes down. So the gossip that people do on train when they're wearing the uniform. When you're not wearing your uniform, nobody knows who you are. But if you're wearing your uniform, you're an ambassador of that company, and therefore you're a leader for that company in your own right. And therefore you have to carry yourself. You have to carry yourself with responsibility, and you have to carry yourself with leadership wherever you go. So it's at all levels, and I believe exemplary, because you can't I mean, you can't tell people to do something and you do exactly the opposite. I mean, they will follow you, and leaders are being watched all the time. And if you make a little mistake, then you will live to regret it. But that's how it is. So
Yes, sir. I am a young professional, and I think I will keep this lesson of yours always very close to my heart. And now I would ask Shweta ma'am to ask you her question.
Uh, so I'm scared asking you this, but still I will ask you this. So, are there any regrets that you have and you wish that some things were a little different?
देखिए,
Does it
आप
happen?
मुझसे आप ऐसा कहा जाता है ना कि दिल्ली बहुत दूर है। मैं मुंबई में बैठा हूँ, आप दिल्ली में बैठी हैं, तो डरने की तो कोई बात ही नहीं है। हम लोग तो इतनी दूर बैठे हैं कि अगर मैं कुछ करना भी चाहूँ तो कुछ नहीं कर सकता हूँ। सो नॉट टू वरी अबाउट दैट, बट द आंसर टू योर क्वेश्चन अगेन comes from Osho's saying, if I may say so. Life is not a problem to be solved, it is a mystery to be lived. Life is not a problem to be solved, it is a mystery to be lived. So I am happy the way I've led my life. So I've learned from my mistakes. I have, improved hopefully from all the mistakes I made in my life, and they've made me the person that I am today. So I have absolutely no regrets. I'm saying if I had to live my life again, I would exactly go through the same thing. Maybe learn a little faster and be a little more, quicker to change as compared to what I've been so far. But it's been a wonderful life. It's been a life that I've enjoyed every bit of, which is why I've penned it down into an autobiography. You know, so I always believe that life is so beautiful. Everybody has problems in life. I've treated all the top people. I've treated top industrialists, top presidents of countries, leaders. मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ, छोटे लोग छोटा प्रॉब्लम, बड़े लोग बड़ा प्रॉब्लम। ये डॉक्टर के ओर से मैं जानता हूँ, क्योंकि मैंने उनकी पूरी स्टडी की हुई है, उनके दिमाग की, उनके शरीर की। तो जितने जो हम सोचते हैं कि हम इतनी छोटी कंपनी नहीं संभाल सकते हैं, हम अपना छोटा सा 4 लोग घर में नहीं संभाल सकते हैं, पर ये प्रधानमंत्री जो हैं वो पूरे देश को कैसे संभालते हैं, वो 1.3 बिलियन लोगों को कैसे संभालते हैं, so the bigger you are, the more challenges you have, but you learn how to deal with them, and in any case, problems are there to solve. Problems are not there to cow down and to say, look at the good part of life, look at the happiness that you get, look at the wonderful relations you had, look at the bonding that you made, and look at the connect that you had with the Almighty and God, that you are connected. So nothing can go wrong. You can always be happy. It's a state of mind. Happiness is a state of mind. You can be happy wherever you are, provided you decide to do so, and you can decide to be miserable as well. मुझे याद है एक कार्टून आया था, उसमें एक there are three people who win, first, second, third. तो एक फर्स्ट जो आता है बच्चा, उसके पास गोल्ड कप है, उसने नीचे रख दिया है, ऐसे नीचे रखा है, उसका सर नीचे झुका हुआ है, और जो थर्ड है वो स्टैंड के ऊपर चिल्ला रहा है. तो it's all a state of mind. The third child who stood third is so happy that he stood third. The person who stood first said he's not happy, not content. Why? Because even though he stood first, but he should have timed it faster. He should have run faster. So everything in life is relative, and we should be content with what we have. I think if contentment is everything, if we are not content with life, we will never be happy, and we cannot keep looking for happiness outside. Like Osho also said, that you can't find answers. There are no answers to life. Life is yours. You have to live it, and you have to learn along the way. And if you make mistakes, so be it. Learn from it. That's all. Don't worry.
Very true. Dr. Batra, I must say, I'm a 90s Mumbai kid, and you have been an inspiration to many of my generation.
Thank you.
And I must say, this has been an honor for me to interview you today.
Thank you.
Saumya,
So may I end
your
with may I end with 2 lines more, especially for Guruji, and this is my vision for everybody and society at large. And since I've sung for you 2 lines of Kishore Kumar and Manna Day, let me also end with 2 lines of Kishore Kumar now. Okay, so I've sung Mohammad Rafi and Mohammad Rafi and Mukesh. Now let me end with 2 lines of Kishore Kumar, and which is my wish for my grandchildren and for the whole world. आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले, जहां गम भी न हो, आंसू भी न हो, बस प्यार ही प्यार पले. एक ऐसे गगन के तले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले, एक ऐसे गगन के तले.
Sir,
Uh,
that was extremely beautiful. But we are not letting you go right now. I have
go
my
right
question.
now.
I also have my
Oh, I
question. No, sir. I am so pumped for this interview. How can I not ask you so many questions? I mean, you
okay. Go
asked.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My question to you is, whatever we saw throughout the interview, it implies that you are a student for life. So, was there some patient of yours, any celebrity, any common man that has taught you a very important lesson? Not just the books or like very big people, but somebody like a very common man. Has somebody taught you a lesson, which you were very close to your heart?
So I've learned from all my patients, and they all have some very it's always the common man which has kind of endearing tales to tell you and things to learn. I've seen families where people came and they had no money for their treatment, and I just you know didn't charge them, and then I realized that they have so many other children who can't not even being fed, so I even gave money from my pocket so they could be fed. I've seen the sacrifices that parents have made for their children. I've seen, for example, homes where somebody who's disadvantaged has been born, and then the mother has never been out of the house for the last 20 years. I've seen girls who not get married because they're looking after an old parent at home. They sacrifice their lives and their happiness to look after somebody old in their family. So I've seen so much of sacrifice, in common people, and also, of course, I've seen sad stories about also film stars who were right on the top and then had no money. I've seen some top singers who then lived in small places. I've said this in my book, I've seen the great grandson of you know Badusha Zafar, दो गज जमी भी न थी कुएं यार में, was then buried in Burma, and he had no money for his treatment, and I treated him free of charge. So I always think that can you imagine, जैसे नेपोलियन ने कहा कि something that is worse than the reverses of fortune is the ingratitude of man. you know so you never know where life will take you. I mean, if the king of if the Maharaja of India or the Basha of India in his third generation could have absolutely no money left, you know, I think you have reason to be humble, and you have reason to be very grateful. I think gratitude for everything that you have is another thing that will help you to actually live happily. I'm saying I wake up every morning to thank God for the life that I've led and for having been kind to me. And I've learned this from my patients. I've seen how much of sufferance they've had. You know, every little बीमारी जो है वो उनको तोड़ देती है. उनके पैसे ही नहीं, पर उनका समय, उनकी उनकी social life, उनकी fabric, totally, it tears you apart. And yet they are strong. They are so strong that they learn how to overcome adversity, and they are lessons for all of us to learn. So जब हमारा थोड़ा सा सर दर्द होता है, पेट में दर्द होता है, बॉडी को होता है, हम लोग रोते हैं. क्यों रो रहे हो भाई? दूसरों को देखो, how they are suffering, and see how they overcome it. So uh, life is to learn. And I think, so what happens also is that people, लोग देखते हैं पर आँख बंद कर देते हैं. They get unaffected because there is so much of suffering all around you. I think the thing is to see the suffering and to reach out to people as much as you can, and also to imbibe that suffering, emote and take it with you, take a part of it with you. I'm saying sometimes as a doctor, a part of me dies every day with the sorrow of some patient of mine that I see every day. A part of me dies. It dies emotionally because I've seen so much of sorrow. I've seen death from close, my own and my patients as well. I've held the hand. I've seen the last breath going out of patients' lives. I've seen that last breath going out. I'm saying it just shows you, how whimsical life is. एक सांस का फर्क है बस, आज और कल में, or present or past में. You then become the late so and so only if you don't have that last one breath of yours. So there's lots to learn, and I've learned all along the way, and I've tried to imbibe as much as I could. But as I go on, I'm sure that I will still learn a lot more.
That was beautiful, sir. नीरुमा, मेरा आपसे अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है कि जैसे कि मैंने पहले भी कहा कि आप और सर एक साथ ही बड़े हुए हैं, तो आपको क्या लगता है कि सर में ऐसी कौन सी क्वालिटीज, कौन से गुण हैं जो आज के लोगों में होने चाहिए?
ओ, भैया के बारे में मैंने पहले भी मेंशन किया है कि जितना कहूँ, जितनी तारीफ करूँ उतना कम है। ही इज अ ब्यूटीफुल सोल। और भैया से तो बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलता है। ही हैज 225 क्लिनिक्स ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड। और हर क्लिनिक के बाहर एक बोर्ड लगा होता है, डॉक्टर बत्राज पॉजिटिव हेल्थ क्लिनिक। जो पॉजिटिव वर्ड है मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है। भैया खुद भी बहुत पॉजिटिव हैं। और भैया की बहुत शोज, जैसे भैया ने बताया, इवेंट्स होते हैं, चैरिटी शोज होते हैं, मैंने सभी अटेंड किए हैं। बहुत ही सुंदर है। उनके बेटे डॉक्टर अक्षय बत्रा उनके साथ हमेशा ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं। और फिजिकली चैलेंज लोग जो स्टेज पे आते हैं फीडबैक देने के लिए, जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कोई व्हील चेयर आया या किसी का बॉडी का ऑर्गन नहीं है, तो वो अपना जब फीडबैक देते हैं, इट इज अमेजिंग। अपनी लाइफ को कैसे एक्सेप्ट करते हैं और हाउ टू डील विद द लाइफ, यू नो। और आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग, जैसे मैंने कुछ मेडिटेशन कैंप्स अटेंड किए हैं स्वामी शैलेंद्र जी गुरु जी के और माँ प्रिया जी के। उसमें भी यही हमें सिखाया जाता था, 8 फोल्ड पाथ ऑफ बुद्धा, जैसे अष्टांग योग जिसको कहते हैं, उसमें राइट माइंडफुलनेस, सम्यक दृष्टि, एक्सेप्टेंस, ये चीजें मैंने सीखी। वो भैया ने हमें करके दिखाई सेम चीज। तो आई रियली, मैं भैया की, जैसे मैंने कहा, बहुत, जितनी तारीफ करूं उतना कम है। पॉजिटिविटी इतनी सुंदर, उन्होंने लोगों ने आके फीडबैक दिया है स्टेज पे। और एज आई मेंशन अर्लियर ऑल्सो, ही इज वेरी फोकस्ड एंड डिसिप्लिन्ड। और भैया का ऐसे ही एक दिशा में ध्यान रहता है। वो जो भी काम करते हैं टोटालिटी से करते हैं। हमारे सदगुरु ओशो कहते हैं कि जिंदगी में कुछ भी, जो भी काम करो, टोटालिटी से करो। और मैं अपने सदगुरु के प्रति अहोभाव प्रकट करना चाहूंगी। मैं छोटी सी थी तो मेरी मदर मुझे ले जाती थी सदगुरु ओशो के सत्संग में और उनके डिस्कोर्स सुनने के लिए। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता था। आई नेवर टू मिस दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी। तो मुझे ध्यान तो बिल्कुल करना ही नहीं आता, कुछ पता ही नहीं था ध्यान के बारे में। जब माँ मुझे गुरुजी स्वामी शैलेंद्र जी और माँ प्रिया जी के मेडिटेशन कैंप्स अटेंड करने लेके गई, तब मुझे इतना सुंदर लगा उनका कैंप्स। मैं चाहती हूँ सभी ये कैंप्स अटेंड करें। इतना सुंदर वो करवाते हैं, मेरा रोम रोम थैंक्स करता है। मैं अहोभाव से भर जाती हूँ। और ग्रेटिट्यूड कहूंगी मेरी मदर को भी बहुत बहुत थैंक्स, जो जिन्होंने मुझे ये इनके साथ जोड़ा। और आई वुड लाइक टू से ग्रेटिट्यूड टुवर्ड्स सदगुरु ओशो, गुरु जी स्वामी शैलेंद्र जी, माँ प्रिया जी, और उन सबकी, सदगुरुओं की हम सब पे सदा कृपा बरसती रहे। थैंक यू।
Indeed, ma'am, that was beautiful. And as much as I don't like this part, sir, but here is a final question to you. What is your USP for life?
Oh God, does life have to have a USP? I just said that it is just whatever, whatever. Just take life as it comes. You know, just play it out. You know, but now that you said it, I would say three things. You know, पहले तो एक लिटिल दोहा जैसा है, वो मैं आपको सुनाता हूँ। खुश रहो दरिया प्रेम का, खुश रहो दरिया प्रेम का, जो उल्टी वार की धार, जो उभरा सो डूब गया, जो डूबा सो पार। सो प्रेम एक ऐसी चीज है जिसमें हम डूब जाते हैं। सो आई थिंक द फर्स्ट यूएसपी इज दैट वन मस्ट लव एंड वन मस्ट लव अनकंडीशनली। लोगों को आप प्यार करिए, बहुत सारा प्यार दीजिए, दुनिया में सबको प्यार दीजिए। जितना आप प्यार बांटेंगे उतना प्यार आपकी जिंदगी में वापस आएगा। सो लव एंड लव अनकंडीशनली is my first USP. The second, of course, is do good to get good. Everything goes around. Whatever you do good ultimately comes back to you. Like I said, वो लोगों की दुआ जो है हमेशा आपको कहीं ना कहीं मदद करती रहती है आपकी ज़िंदगी में. So always do that. The other, of course, is attachment with detachment. I believe in attaching yourself totally in whatever you're doing, but also detach. So don't get attached to physical things. Don't get attached to materialistic things. And there's a very interesting saying, finally, which says, we all have a terminal illness. We all have a terminal illness. It is called life, because life is finite. Only tax and deaths are a reality. So we all have to go one day, and we don't know when. And which is why
Yes, sir.
the best way to live life is to live and enjoy every moment. So savor every moment, enjoy every moment, be grateful, be thankful for what you have, and God bless all of you. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir. You have this, oozing positivity about you, and you have made everybody so happy today with all your views, and we are
Yes,
extremely blessed and grateful to have you with us on this show, and we cherish this association with you. And all the very best for all your endeavors, sir. You're going to ace them as usual. So thank you so much for connecting with us, sir, today.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Swamiji, as well, for this opportunity. Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.